10 failed WWE Attitude Era wrestling comebacks. Let's watch.
10 WWE Attitude Era gimmicks that just failed to work in the Ruthless Aggression Era. Number 10, Gangrel. The Gangrel character is fondly remembered by fans, and it was a great part of the Attitude Era. With that being said, when WWE tried to bring the character back in 2004, it just didn't feel like the same, and the crowd were lukewarm at best. The character would return during the main event level story arc between JBL and The Undertaker, and Gangrel would be brought back as he was a member of the Ministry of Darkness. The visual of Gangrel in a 2004 WWE just wasn't right, and it was understandable why WWE didn't sign Gangrel to a new deal. Gangrel would also return along with Viscera, and unlike Gangrel, Viscera would be re-signed with the company, but the more gothic elements of his character would be heavily stripped back, and he was given a number of new characters during his final run in the promotion. Number 9. Test. Test was involved in several huge storylines during the Attitude Era, yet his run in the subsequent eras wasn't exactly stellar. WWE did at least try with Test, and they gave him high-profile matches against the likes of The Undertaker and Scott Steiner, yet the fans just didn't care about what he was doing. His gimmick somewhat evolved in 2002 when he would enter into a storyline with Stacy Keibler, yet Test didn't have the charisma to pull this character off, and WWE eventually went in a different direction. When Test was used for the relaunch of ECW, he would debut a brand new look, yet even this impressive physique didn't endear him to the crowd. Number 8. Sable.
Damn.
The women's roster had vastly changed by the time WWE arrived in the Ruthless Aggression Era. The roster had names such as Trish Stratus, Lita, Victoria, and Jazz in top roles, so when Sable returned to the company in 2003, she felt out of place and the crowd were less than enthusiastic regarding a return. While she was popular several years prior, the crowd had moved on completely, and even though WWE tried to feature her in a major role on TV alongside Vince McMahon, the role could have ultimately gone to any other female on the roster, and WWE would have had the same result. Sable's WWE run during the Ruthless Aggression Era was a sign that not everything works across different eras, as the desires of the fans change and types of wrestling that they want to consume can evolve. Number 7.
Very
D'Lo Brown.
true.
What
Very
went wrong with
true.
D'Lo Brown in WWE? During the height of the Attitude Era, he was considered by many as one of the most underrated stars of the time period. Brown was even a name that fans would often label as a future world champion, and if you examine his work in 98 or 99, it's easy to see why fans hold Brown in such high regard. However, during the final few years of the era and into the subsequent era, Brown would fall further and further down the card, and fans completely forgot about him. Brown's gimmick and character just didn't hold up after the year 2000, and the X factor that Brown had, which related to his in-ring ability, was now gone, as WWE had hired so many elite-level performers, meaning that Brown became an afterthought for both WWE and their core audience. Number 6.
Maybe like the gimmick or the personality just didn't mesh well with whatever era that they were going in. I could see that being a thing. You know what I'm saying? So that's probably why it like kind of like faded out with the fans or whatever.
6. Hardcore Holly. Hardcore Holly was an entertaining part of the Attitude Era, as his work, particularly alongside Crash Holly, left fans with lasting memories. Beyond the Attitude Era, Holly's work in both the Ruthless Aggression Era and the start of the PG Era didn't exactly deliver at the level WWE wanted. Holly would be pushed several times over the years, and in 2004, he was given a WWE title match on pay-per-view against Brock Lesnar. The crowd struggled to take Holly seriously in this role, and the Holly vs Lesnar feud was definitely an odd match to feature on a major pay-per-view event such as the Royal Rumble. In his later years, Holly would work closely with Cody Rhodes, yet Holly often struggled to obtain any sort of reaction, and although his in-ring work was still at the same level, the fans were just ready to see newer stars in Holly's established role. Number 5. Val Venus. When WWE gave Val Venus the adult film star gimmick, they clearly knew that the gimmick had a shelf life. The nature of the gimmick means that there's not really a lot you can do with it. By 2000, Venus was portraying other gimmicks, and he would even join the Right to Censor faction. After the end of the Attitude Era, WWE would try to recapture the magic of the original character, as Venus would now go under the name of the Big Valboski. Unfortunately for Venus, WWE just didn't want to commit to a decent push, so the gimmick failed to connect with the WWE audience. After some random gimmicks, including an authoritative gimmick, WWE would once again bring the gimmick back in 2003, and at this point, it was more sad than anything else. Nobody wanted to see Venus using the gimmick during the Ruthless Aggression Era, and it was almost painful to see him get such little fan support from the audience. Venus would regularly find himself on Sunday Night Heat, and whenever he appeared on Raw, he was mostly on the show to put over another talent. Number 4, Billy Gunn.
It just didn't
Billy
go.
Gunn was a key part of DX as well as the New Age Outlaws during the Attitude Era, and this helped Gunn get insanely over with the audience, so much so that they would give Gunn the King of the Ring victory in 1999. Whilst his popularity definitely dwindled after the 99 King of the Ring victory, they did try to keep him around in featured roles, yet when Gunn was still using his Attitude Era character during the Ruthless Aggression era, it was evidently a sign that they had zero idea what to do with him.
That
WWE did attempt
sucks.
to freshen up the gimmick in late 2001 with the Billy and Chuck character arc, yet even this didn't last long, and it wasn't before long that the Attitude Era presentation of his character would reappear on TV. Having legacy gimmicks around in subsequent eras is never a bad thing, yet they should always have a substantial purpose behind their existence. Gunn using the
Right.
Mr. Ass gimmick in 2004 was something to behold, and it was just a case that that style of gimmick was a product of its time. Number 3,
That's what
Grandmaster
I'm
Sexay.
saying.
Now, the Attitude Era fans love Too Cool, and they love the interactive elements of their gimmick, but one member of the group who struggled when the group disbanded was Grandmaster Sexay, as he was basically doing the entire gimmick by himself, just without Scotty 2 Hotty or Rikishi. In 2004, WWE were bringing back into the fold, and he should have been given a new gimmick, as a dancing gimmick would immediately be rejected by a 2004 audience. Unfortunately, WWE believed they knew better, and ultimately, Sexay's Ruthless Aggression return managed to become one of the biggest flops of the era. In 2011, he would cameo on Raw during the Michael Cole and Jerry Lawler feud, and to say that Sexay received one of the weakest pops imaginable would be an understatement. It was as if the fans had no idea who he was, and there was visible confusion as Sexay did his trademark dance on the way to the ring. Number 2, Rikishi.
For real?
Now a heel turn can often change the
Oh
trajectory of
my
a pro
god.
wrestler's career. This was the case with Rikishi in
That is
2000.
sad. That makes me
Rikishi was
sad.
revealed to be the man who ran over Stone Cold Steve Austin, and as a result, WWE had to change everything about his presentation. The fun elements of the gimmick were stripped back, and this heel turn didn't do Rikishi any favors. And in 2001, WWE would end up bringing back the more comedic side of Rikishi's character. Whilst the character did remain somewhat popular, the gimmick just didn't reconnect in the same way again. The heel turn did irreversible damage to his reputation amongst the fanbase, and WWE should have definitely given more care to the now infamous 2000 heel turn. During Rikishi's final few years in WWE, he would mainly be used as a lower card talent, and he would even rekindle his Too Cool partnership with Scotty 2 Hotty, yet the novelty of the Too Cool reunion quickly died off, and WWE were in a state of creative flux when it came to the former IC champion. And number 1, the APA. WWE vastly reduced the role of the APA on television between 2003 to 2004. The duo would mainly be used to put over up-and-coming tag teams, and whilst they admittedly still got a positive response from the fans, the mystique and aura that was present early on during their run as a duo was dwindling. This was likely a reason as to why WWE decided to separate them in 2004, as after an influx of top names leaving the promotion, they needed new top guys, and Vince McMahon believed that Bradshaw was perfect for the role. Bradshaw would become JBL, and JBL would become WWE Champion, becoming one of the most established top guys within a few short months. This was the right call, as the APA act was becoming tiresome, and if the tag team combination lasted any longer than they did, it may have impacted the legacy of the team itself. But there you have it, folks. Attitude Era gimmicks that
Oh my god, just thinking about this, because a lot of these like moments that he mentioned, I was a kid at the time, so it's like it didn't really like bother me, or maybe I just like didn't notice or whatever, but like looking at it like as an adult, that is sad as fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like especially like Rikishi and stuff like that, because I love Rikishi and I just loved seeing him on my screen, you know what I mean? And to know that it's just like pulling the curtain back a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Like to know what he just said in this video that happened is like sad, you know? So dang, bro, that is crazy. Leave some likes and comments down below. Let me know what you guys think. And yeah, I will see y'all on the next one. Toodles.